Alright, these are some quick demos just to kind of explain the concepts for color change. So there are templates built. There's also a style library of styles that I've built. But if you want to start looking at setting up your own styles or converting styles to color change, this is just kind of a overview. There's a lot more information available in the text, but just to kind of go along. Color change is essentially effect. So you can nest that effect anywhere you want in as many places as you want on any of the styles you want. It essentially it takes the place of a color, and then it will allow you to put in a list of colors. It also does effects, so you can put in a list of effects. But for the first demonstration here, I'm going to just do color. So I have an audio flicker blade, and then for the color 1, color 2, I've put in three color change. A color change in both with 3 different colors that are used to do the audio flicker. So the red and then an RGB mix, green and an RGB mix, and blue and an RGB mix. So what color change does is every time you activate your buttons will vary depending on the Saber file you choose. I'm using my version, which is the default OS with some additional button controls. But SA22C has his button set up, plus he has the single button set up, so your controls may be different. But with color change, when you activate it, it just goes to the next color. Now color change also holds that color while you're in this preset as long as there's power. So I can retract my blade and it's going to keep the same color. If you cut power to the board or if you change presets, everything goes back to default. So your default is automatically the first color in color change. Same with effects. If you have effects built in there, the first one is going to be what displays by default, but you can scroll through them. So this is essentially just set up as an audio flicker with 2 different color change that are set up. So now, as I noted, color change isn't just about colors, though. You can do effects as well. So now, on this particular blade for demonstration, I actually have different colors and effects within a color change. So there's a style for color change. It's got a deep sky blue audio flicker. And then when I change colors now, this now has a brown noise flicker in red. And then, so that's all the second option. And then the third option is a fire blade in green. So you're not limited to just setting your colors. You're also not limited in how many. So my demonstrations right now are just 3 colors. You can put in as many colors as you want. You can put in as many effects as you want. There is technically no limit. You can also do color change on all the other effects. So if you wanted to set your blast to have all different colors, or your lockup, clash, etc., you can set all those up just by nesting a color change style in and defining the colors. So more information about that. But with this version here, I can change color and effect at the same time with color change. Now, in addition to the color to the on the fly, which are those first 2 examples, there's also a scroll select option. So what scroll select is you actually enter a scroll mode, and then it will run through everything in the color scroll and allow you to choose from a scrolling menu. So you can, I'll demonstrate it. So it's just going to be your basic blade, but then you enter scroll mode. Sorry, I didn't twist it enough. And now that's going to go through, in this case I have just red, but I actually have 3 effects running. So audio flicker, an unstable, and then a fire. And then it's just going to keep going through those. So you can leave it scrolling if you'd like. You can set it up however you want, use it as a demo, etc. But then any point when it's actually at the effect you want, you can stop the scroll using select, and that will then lock in that effect. Now it works the same for colors too. You can have all your colors scrolling. It just depends on how you nest everything. But that's another option. So that's the second way you can do color changes using scroll select. And now, because we have 2 methods for changing color with the on the fly and the scroll select, you can combine those and be able to do 2 different things at once. So in this one, I have my colors set up on the fly, And then I have my effect set up on a scroll mode, so I can change colors just using that, but then I can enter scroll mode and I can have it change the effects. So this is just by nesting a color change within an effect scroll and using them together. And then with the scroll, because it's two different controls, I can also keep changing colors. So I can have the effects running on the background, but have my color change as well. And then you can stop the scrolling at any point when you're at the effect you want. And that will lock in the effect that I want. So that was running scroll mode with on the fly, and then you can also continue to change your colors. So this just gives you even more flexibility in how you want to be able to change effects and colors. So it just lets you mix and match.
Luke Skywalker.
And then lastly, because we can nest these changes, you're not limited to the whole blade. So this is just kind of a simple thing I put together. But I actually set up two different color changes in a gradient. So the bottom is going to be scroll mode, and the top is going to be on the fly. So I can have these two parts of the blade change differently. So I've got, the base is still a red-white audio flicker, but now the top is green, and then I can change the top again, and that's on the fly. And then with scroll mode activated, now the base will change. And that'll continue to change until I stop scroll mode. And I can again continue to change the top part at the same time. So it just gives you even more flexibility in that you're not really limited in anything. You can make any effect or color change, and you can do it two different ways even within the same preset. And then again, when you get to the mix that you want, you can stop the scroll mode and it'll lock that in. And then again, it will hold this as long as you keep this preset active with power. So I can retract and I can pull in. So you can pick it and use it. Now when I cut power, it will go back to default, or if I change the presets, the next preset will be on its default setting. But that's all just kind of a brief overview. There's so much that can be done with these features, and I'm sure guys will find new ways to use them. I invite everybody to kind of mess around and play, take a look at the library, take a look at the templates, start thinking up your own stuff. So I hope everybody has fun with this.